Good morning everyone, coming to you with a haul for this week from the op shops. Having to film inside today because it is a very wet, windy and rainy day here in Perth, so hopefully the lighting's okay. I'm using my usual little stable table that I use, so let's see how we go. So this is from 2 days that I went out. One day I went out with my husband and the kids because we're actually on school holidays here in Perth, and then the second day was a day I went out specifically with my older son. We had a mummy son day out and he asked to go op shopping. That's my boy. So we went for a day out and we found the pieces on this side. So I'll start over here. And what actually prompted us to go out this particular day, oh, my camera's rocking, was because I had seen this ring on Facebook Marketplace. And I used to have one years ago, and I just don't know what happened to it. It was a more lemony citrine. This one looks more like a topaz. And I've always wanted to replace it, and I saw this one up for $25 and I had to have it. But it was a good hour and 15-minute drive from my house. So we decided to do a day trip with the kids and take them for a drive. And then we thought, well, on the way back, we'll look at some op shops so we can try and make a day of it. So this was the piece that I purchased. It's a little 9-carat gold ring. And it's got little British hallmarks inside. I haven't researched the hallmarks yet, but it's so lovely. It's obviously a 1960s, 70s ring. It's a little bit small for me, so I have to have it resized. But that's what prompted, this ring was what prompted my my going out of the house that day with the family. Then we went to a couple of op shops, and one of them we found this Vinnie's. I found 2 pieces. I picked up this one. This bracelet, it says Jewellery Designs, and again, I couldn't see any marks on it, but you get to know the color of the silver, this really dark gray sort of a tinge, and I knew it was silver when I looked at it. It has no markings anywhere, even on the inside. Sometimes these pieces will be marked here on the inside. There was absolutely nothing, and I just thought for $2, I knew it was a leather bracelet. And it's quite large, so I actually thought my husband would like it. And I thought this part was silver. And I thought it's a really unusual design that I hadn't seen before. So I paid $2 for that. And when I got out to the car and I was waiting for my husband, he was looking at some stuff in another op shop, I looked up this designs, Jewellery Designs, and they are an Australian maker. And this is actually kangaroo leather. So they make pieces out of kangaroo leather and silver. And yeah, this retails for about $60 on their website. So $2, that was a good find. The next Vinnie's, this was the same Vinnie's actually, and I found this piece. It's a vintage copper bracelet. If you know designers, this is looks very Renoir or Matisse, which is designers from the 50s that made copper jewellery. I can't see a signature on this piece, but it's really lovely geometric modernist design. And that was only $1, and that's a vintage piece, so I grabbed that. At another op shop, I found this bangle. It's not silver, but I really like the design of it with the birds. It's really pretty. It's just a base metal. It was $3, but I really liked the design of it. I'll pull my sleeve up. I can see better. I could see myself wearing that, so I got that for $3. Then we actually went to about 6 or 7 op shops on the way back, and we didn't have much luck, to be honest. Some of them were really expensive, and others, they just obviously had really good jewellery people and they knew their stuff, and there wasn't anything, like there was racks and racks of jewellery, but they'd picked all the good stuff out and had it in their cabinets. And then we went to a little op shop. I don't know what store it was, whether it was a Good Sammy's or a Salvo's, and on their rack they had a $2 necklace rack, and I sat for a while and I hunted and I found these 3 pieces. So this is a little cow pendant, and it's on a chain, and the chain is marked sterling silver on the little clasp. It's too tiny to try and show you on the camera, but that was a find for $2. And then on the same rack in my hunting, I found this. And where is it marked here? 925. And this is interesting. It's a double strand one. And it's actually marked on the tag next 925. I'm not familiar with that brand, but for $2. It's a really pretty pink piece, and I'm really into shell at the moment, a mother of pearl. And then the third piece I got off the same rack was this piece, which was just a plain sterling silver chain, and that was $2 too. Then the last store we stopped at, it literally was 5 minutes before they were shutting. We all ran in, and the kids as well, and said, oh, can we have a quick look before you shut? And the pieces that I found there were, the first piece I found were these cufflinks. And I've been getting into cufflinks for my husband. And these are Ted Baker ones. And I like them because all the stones were present and they just looked like they were nice quality. And they were $5. It was a Salvation Army store. And then again, me and the mother of pearl at the moment, I purchased this piece for myself. It's a large mother of pearl pendant, stamp 925. And it was on quite a nice sterling silver snake chain. It's really pretty, actually. My husband helped me pick that piece. And that was $15. And then my gorgeous Hawkeye husband spotted this over my shoulder because I was frantically trying to have a quick look because we had 5 minutes. And he found this locket. And it was $3. And at the time, $3, $4, I think. And it was on a costume chain. And it looked, instantly I thought, oh, it's a Victorian locket, and it's either a real Victorian locket or it's a reproduction. And you open it up, and inside it had some scratch marks on both sides, which was funny because in Roman numerals they both say 14. So we were a bit suspicious that it might be gold. And we brought it home, and it was late at night and there was no way to test it, and we got all excited thinking it might be a gold Victorian locket. We actually took it to our local pawnbroker the next morning to check, and he scanned it and he said it's actually gold filled, which is still a beautiful piece. We found some photos online that would have originally had pearls through here, like little half pearls, and then this is a blue enamel on the front. But honestly, for $4, it was still a really nice find. I'm actually going to take it to our jewellers and have some pearls put back in it, and I'll probably keep that to wear for myself. It's really lovely. Or I might not. I never know with pieces. I buy them when I see them because I think, oh, that's cheap. And then I tend to have a selection of pieces and I rotate them. So I'll go through pull my collection out, and I'll pull out 5 or 10 pieces, and then I'll wear those pieces for like a month, and then I'll get sick of them and I'll put them into rotation and pull out some new pieces. So I'm not wearing as much gold, but we'll see how we go. It's a nice piece, and I'm sure I'll find an occasion to wear it. This piece was really lovely. I got it at a local op shop just down the road from us. This actually wasn't part of those 2 days, but I put it in the middle to separate them. And I grabbed it because this is glass or onyx beads, and this is coral. And these are all coral beads as well. And it was $2, and it's really lovely and heavy, and it's cold, so it has that real feeling of natural stone or glass. But it was really pretty, and I grabbed that for $2. Now onto this side of the tray, which was the day that I went out to Fremantle with my son, and we found these pieces. It was actually, I'd been to the Fremantle stores before, but I found this new store that I hadn't seen before, and we only went there because we went a particular way we were driving, and it was really tucked far back in a corner, and that's where I found this necklace and all these pieces that are here. And it was definitely a good one, and I'll go back again, and I'll get in and start showing you what I found. I found this cinnabar necklace. It's cinnabar and like glass, likely glass, red and black glass, with little cinnabar beads, and it's a really nice long one, and it was $3. I don't know that it's vintage, but it's still a really nice piece, and I saw it amongst everything and thought, oh, I have to have that. Then, oh no, that one was from a different store. These were the ones from that store. Then this was actually the first piece I found on the racks, and I was super, super excited. It was $3, and I spotted the clasp. And again, I keep saying I'm going to do a video about clasp. I'm actually going to film one this week. See if I can see the difference between something that's vintage. I don't think I've got anything on the tray that's not silver, so it's unhelpful. But I will show you the difference between clasps. This shape of clasp here is used a lot on silver and gold. And when I flip this one over on the inside, right on there, it's a 375, which is 9 karat gold. And this part here is 9 karat gold. And the two side sections actually are stamped steel. So I think if the staff in the store had a quick look at it and they saw the word steel, they would have just thought it was stainless steel. But this, sorry, I'll see if you see it better. This part and the front part is actually 9-carat gold, and that was $3. So that was the first piece that I found at that store. Then I went over to the earring racks and I found these sterling silver button earrings. It's always good to pull the backs off when you're in the store so you can have a look. I don't know if you can see on that side the 925 up the top. Again, I grabbed these because they were black. They're that tarnished colour, and I knew that they were silver. Really absolutely filthy, probably been in someone's jewellery box for many years and not worn. And that's the colour that silver tarnishes when it's not been worn for years. So those were $2. This was actually an interesting one. The other earring had fallen off and it was on the rack. It's a really lovely sterling silver marcasite and blue topaz earring. And we looked everywhere on the floor, even the staff did, trying to find the other one because I would have loved these to wear. These are really, really pretty. But we couldn't find it. So at the end, when I got to the checkout, I asked them if I could buy just the one earring. And they said, you know what, you can have it for nothing. So that was really good to get that. I also found this pair of sterling silver earrings that are marked here, 925, and they're pearls. I don't know if they're freshwater or saltwater pearls, but they're very, very pretty. Oh, and they were $2, as you can see. Then I found these two bangles. Again, they had that grey colour like they were silver. And when I had a quick look inside on one of them, it was this flat one. There's a mark here. These ended up being silver and they were $1 for the pair. And then this was, I think, the last piece that I grabbed from there. My son was looking with me and he was spotting he actually found some Denmark pewter pieces, but he's still learning, so he's not really got the eye for silver yet. And right in front of him, I saw this piece. And again, it's that same shape of clasp. I don't know if you can recognize the difference between those round ones or these ones that have this sort of half loop and then the longer elongated section at the back. And this is marked 925 on here. And it's actually a designer piece. It's got one of the hang tags is a designer. Hang on, I'll wait till I get to it. It's got all these different sterling silver charms around it. They're all marked sterling silver on the back. A little horseshoe, a little eye, cross and heart. And then this is the hang tag here for the designer. Susenai. Yeah, and that was $1. So that was a really good score. So they're the pieces that we found at that one new store that we hadn't been to before. So that was a really good for a first time shop. Then we went into the centre of Fremantle, and I find the shops there are really expensive. Again, they normally know their stuff and they have all of their silver separate in cabinets. And I went through, my eye tends to go either for vintage pieces or for silver and gold. And I honestly am rarely finding vintage pieces now, I think because it's become more popular. I used to go 10 years ago to op shops and I could pick up brooches for $1, and now they want $10 each for brooches. So I'm tending to not buy them because they're just too expensive. This piece was $3. And again, my eye went to it because of the tarnished colour, and it made me have a better look at it. And here on this section here, it says live your dream, and right there it says 925. So this is a piece with natural pearls, and the whole lot of it is sterling silver, and it even has a little natural pearl behind the nape of the neck when you do it up. So that was the one piece I found in the centre of Fremantle from those stores, and that was $3. Then my son and I went for lunch, and then on the way home we stopped. There's a row of shops on the way down to back to our house, all the way from Freo, and I found these pieces up here. There was 3 shops we stopped into, and or maybe 4, I think. One of them I got this piece here, only because I think it's really, really pretty, and it's actually a where's the tag? A designer signed vintage Sarah Coventry piece, signed Sarah Cove. And I used to collect this. I mean, I still have probably 30 or 40 pieces, but I used to be right into this. I probably had hundreds at one point. And so I grabbed this because it was pristine, like brand new condition. And I probably could have used this necklace to show you the difference in the clasps. See these round clasps? They're less often silver unless they're smaller. Like, let me do it now while I'm looking. This is one that's silver as opposed to one that's costume. See the size difference? So look for the little ones, and the little ones are either stamped on the sides here or in teeny weeny little writing across the edge. But yeah, that's the difference in the size. So I grabbed that piece. That was $2 on their $2 rack. Again, I purchased it purely for the condition. Then the next store I went to, I got this lovely brooch. It was marked $7, but for some reason when I got to the checkout, she said, you can have that for $3. And it's marked Chloris, or Chloris. I've done research online and I can't find this designer, so it's intrigued me a little bit, but I just loved the design of it. It's so beautiful. Can you imagine it on a black jacket? It's really quite unusual, very Art Nouveau looking. I grabbed this little sterling silver bracelet for $2, which was in their cabinet. Clearly marked $9.25, but they only had $2. And then they have racks in the store that are $2, where every piece of jewellery on it is $2. And I found this one. Again, you'll get to learn the tarnish. See how grey this is? Really, really grey. And you open it up. But this stamp was quite clear on the back. 925 Italy. So it needs a very, very, very good clean. But I will just be stashing that away. I buy a lot of silver just for the gram weight, for investment for the future. So it'll go away in my silver box. And then the last section of stores we stopped at, I found these two pieces in one store and these two pieces in another Salvos. So they were, these two weren't from a Salvos. I think they were from a Good Sammy's. I found this beautiful old brooch, filigree work, and it's stamped here, silver on the back. That was $7. And this is on their brooch stand. So they had their brooches and they were priced between $4 and sort of $15. And for some reason, they had costume pieces that were $15, and yet they had this obviously silver piece for $7. So, and then they also had on the stand this piece, which is a Siam silver and enamel piece, clearly marked sterling on the back, and it didn't have a didn't have a price tag. So I asked the lady, how much for that one? And she said, oh, you can have it for $2. And I thought, okay, well, so this is what I mean about how their pricing sometimes is really funny. So something that I would consider is not worth 50 cents, they'll have for $15. And then something that's obviously silver and the gram weight alone of this would be $4 or $5. They give this to me for $2. So, but that's why we enjoy the hunt, right? So we don't complain. And then the last two pieces I got were from a Salvos, was the last store we stopped at, and I've just really sick of the earrings that I have at the moment, and I'm looking for some new colours. So I've been drawn to this kind of carnelian or coral colours. And this pair here is really, really lovely. It's got mother of pearl, onyx and coral. And these were marked here on the bottom, $95. And they were $4. And then this pair looks like they're carnelian, or cornelian, however it's pronounced. Really, really nice. And these are marked here on the little hangers, $95. And they're really pretty for $4. And again, this store had a really large cabinet of silver, and all of their ones that they had written silver on were between $15 and $25 for earrings. And yet it was still worth looking at the racks because I was able to find these two pairs for $4 each. So that was all the jewellery that we found. One other thing I did find, which I will show you, was that when I was with my son at this store here that we hadn't been to before, was this little box, and it was marked $2. It's got Chinese writing on, which I've gone on a antiques page I'm on and asked, and they said that this says Ming Dynasty and that this says 54 or 57, one of the two. And through posting up a picture, I was told that it's actually a cricket box. So apparently they say it's not old. They think that it's a modern reproduction. But what I'm going to do is just hold on to it. I actually got it because I wanted it for a jewellery box. I didn't even know what it was. But I thought, oh, that'll be lovely for next to my bed to put jewellery in. But just to show, because I don't normally buy this type of pieces, but I thought I would just show it because I found it on this particular haul. So yeah, if you have any comments about any of the pieces, anything that you would like to know more about identifying pieces or about designers, I am going to do a designer video, one about markings and one about cleaning very shortly. And I've also got some other things in the works too, but it's actually school holidays here in Perth at the moment, so it's a bit harder for me to get things done. So in about another week and a half, when the kids are back at school, I will have more time to film those videos. But thank you so much for being here with me for this one today. And hopefully the rain will stop so that swap meet will be on this weekend, and I'll have a haul after swap meet. Otherwise, I will see you next week. Bye.